Good morning, and thank you for joining the National Center on Time and Learning and Teach Plus for our event today. In addition to releasing our report, Time for Teachers, Leveraging Expanded Time to Strengthen Instruction and Empower Teachers, we hope to launch a national conversation focused on mobilizing policy and education leaders to support the new school models that are necessary to enable school-embedded time for teachers to collaborate and learn together. My name is Jennifer Davis, and I'm the co-founder and president of the National Center on Time and Learning. Since 2007, NCTL has been working to advance a policy and school improvement agenda focused on the need to redesign American schools to provide students the time they need to succeed in our changing world. Expanding learning time in school is particularly important for students living in poverty, who too often start school already behind and don't have the extra learning opportunities outside of school in the summer that their higher income peers enjoy. Of course, we are well aware that time is a resource, and whether that time is used well in school determines educational impact. The schools we feature in this report are examples of how excellent schools maximize teachers' time to create the greatest benefits for teachers and students. NCTL's policy and technical assistance has always included a focus on teachers and the importance of giving teachers more time to collaborate, to review student data, to strategize on how to meet the individual needs of students, and to develop new schools within a redesigned and expanded school day and year. The beauty of ELT schools that add significant more time to the schedule, we recommend 300 additional hours above the standard 180 6.5-hour days, is that we do not have to sacrifice student time for teacher time. We can find more time for both in a restructured and expanded schedule. So today's event launches a new and important phase of work for NCTL around teacher time at a point in history where it could not be more important. Higher academic standards in most states, new teacher evaluation systems, and so many new teachers in our schools require bold action. The United States has to be more aggressive in closing our persistent achievement gap and opportunity gap, and to keep up with the more educationally advanced nations. Investing in additional quality time for teachers is key to achieving those goals. We know from our work in Massachusetts and across the US, and from this study and others, that schools can dramatically improve when teachers are given more time and support. Our challenge is how do we share and replicate the best practices at both the policy and practice level. Supporting teachers must be our highest priority and focus, one that we can all rally around together. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you support charter schools or are a union leader, whether you support dramatic turnarounds from the top down or grassroots bottom up school reform. Teachers are the heart of schooling, and we all must do our best to support their success. We look forward to working with all of you to create more schools that embody the teacher practices identified in this report. You can join us in this conversation today at #Time4Teachers. It is my great pleasure this morning to introduce from the White House Domestic Policy Council, Special Assistant to the President for Education, Roberto Rodriguez. Roberto has been a driving force behind this administration's historic investments in policies focused on dramatically improving public education. He has long been a friend and supporter of the movement to expand learning time for high-poverty students. Back in 2008, Roberto accompanied his then boss, Senator Kennedy, to one of our first and very successful ELT schools in Massachusetts, the Clarence Edwards Middle School in Boston. With Roberto's leadership and support, the Massachusetts successes led to Senator Kennedy's introduction of the Time Act and later a series of policies and budget requests through the Obama administration that have significantly accelerated the movement to ensure students and teachers have the time in school they need to succeed. Of course, Roberto's portfolio is much broader than that, early childhood education to higher education, and we thank him for his leadership and for joining us here today. At the end of his remarks, he's going to take a few questions too. Thank you, Roberto, for being here.
Well, good morning. It's great to be here with you this morning. I want to begin by thanking the National Center on Time and Learning and Jennifer and Dave and all of the leadership there for this important report. I want to recognize and thank Teach Plus, Celine and Alice, and all of the wonderful work that that team does. This is a really important conversation we're having today about how additional learning time can really help to support our teachers so that they can flourish and thrive in supporting instruction, great instruction for our students. You know, our administration, as Jennifer noted, recognized very early the benefits of expanded time and learning for our students. You know, our conversation on expanded learning time has really focused pretty squarely on ensuring that our students have the time and the support and the experiences in their learning that they need to be successful. Today's event focuses on teachers and on what we can do together to support more time for teachers to collaborate, to strengthen instruction, and to really lead from the front lines this movement for improvement and change in our public education system. You know, we know that high-performing countries and schools invest heavily in their teachers' development. They dedicate time for their teachers to create lessons, to collaborate with their peers, to review student data. And we also know that, particularly in a time when our teachers are working to implement higher, more rigorous standards across the country, we know we need to advance a policy and a practice agenda that supports more job-related, relevant professional development for our teachers. You know, this is an agenda that has been noted we should all be able to support. That's reflected in the cadre of practitioners that you'll hear from later this morning from all perspectives, from all different parts of our public education system. Well-structured professional learning time and school leaders who are willing to make that time for their teachers must be a priority for us as a country if we are going to lift student achievement and close the achievement gap. We will hear about the opportunities today that expanded learning time can provide to support creative scheduling that will enable more time for teachers outside of their classroom responsibilities and ensure that students get the extra time and the support that they need to be able to be successful. In many of the cases, these models bring nonprofit partners, outside specialists in areas like robotics and mathematics and science, in the arts, and in many other areas to enrich the learning experiences for our students and for our teachers. And the high-performing ELT schools that have been profiled in today's report are great examples of schools that are doing exactly what's needed to deliver the expanded learning time and support that our students and our teachers need. Now, you know, the president has consistently put forth a policy agenda that's been designed squarely to foster mobility and to foster opportunity across America and to really begin to build more ladders into the middle class. And we believe squarely that a high-quality education is the first rung on that ladder of opportunity. This is why over the past 5 years we've proposed an arc of policies and investments that are designed to really spur systemic reform across our public education system, to drive a new focus in our schools that will prepare all of our students for college and for success in their future careers. And the president has challenged all of us, from Secretary Duncan on down, to make sure that we are doing all we can to be an engine for innovation across our public education system, to create the climate for change that we need in our schools. Those principles of innovation and of change were principles that were at the bedrock of our Race to the Top competition that we launched over 4 years ago now. And it's fitting that we're gathered this week at the 60th anniversary of the Brown v. Board decision, as our administration also begins to embark on making sure that we are viewing and approaching the education reform agenda from an equity perspective and doing all we can to support equity and opportunity at the center of that agenda for change. This year, we've proposed a new Race to the Top, Equity and Opportunity. And we believe that promoting expanded learning time is one of the critical ways that we can begin to close the opportunity and equity gaps that we see across our system. You know, with this new program, the President and the Secretary are reviewing and expanding our focus on equity and the importance of creating really a comprehensive blueprint of solutions that will tackle the inequities in our system head on. We are focused on 4 critical goals that I want to mention here in this program because I think they're relevant to the discussion we're going to have later this morning. The first is to do more to use data to identify disparities and to create strategies that will directly close the achievement gap. The second is to do more to support, to recruit, and to make sure we are developing and retaining strong teachers and strong leaders, particularly in our neediest schools. The third is to open access to advanced opportunities for learning, advanced coursework that will prepare our students for college and for successful careers. And the final is to make sure that we're doing more to support our students and to bring together a comprehensive, integrated set of supports and solutions, including expanded learning time, that will individualize the experience for our students, that learning experience and that support. Now, well-designed ELT schools can be the vehicle for delivering on this agenda. I think as we'll see in today's report and from the schools that have been profiled today, they're using frequent data cycles to look at what's working and what needs greater attention in the classroom, constantly evaluating student strengths and weaknesses, identifying where students need extra help and attention, and making sure they get it. They're making sure that we're putting strong teachers at the center of our school reform agenda. And as we'll hear today, using time as that vehicle to drive innovation and intensive teacher collaboration and professional development. They're doing more to make sure that we're bringing the advanced coursework and experiences to our students that they'll need to be able to make sure that they reach those college and career-ready standards. And they'll be doing more to make sure that we can improve school climate, provide greater opportunities for deeper adult-student connections through advisory periods and other means, and doing more to broaden the capacity, excuse me, to make sure that we're attending to the individual needs of every student, not just through data, but also through more extensive use of teaming and collaboration as a strategy to discuss student progress and student challenges, and to personalize the instruction and the support that our students receive. So we have a long and rich history as an administration in supporting expanded learning time. That ranges from the work we've done as part of the blueprint for reauthorization of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, and enabled through our administration's ESEA waiver policy to make sure we're breaking down some of the barriers that had prevented grantees from expanding school time and encourage expanded learning time as a systemic and school-wide approach to doing more to close the achievement gap. We've embarked on a new effort to turn around some of our lowest performing schools through the School Improvement Grant Program. We've invested upwards of almost $500 million a year in that program to prioritize change and a new day for learning for many of our students in those schools. And our transformation and turnaround models embed increased learning time as a key strategy in that approach. And finally, we've also embarked on a new competition, the Investing in Innovation Fund, which makes grants available for expanded learning time schools and others to make sure that we're bringing this approach forward at the cusp of innovation for the rest of our system to learn from and to begin to scale. So we thank you for your attention here today. We're excited about the opportunity and the discussion that will ensue from today's important report. And we want to encourage all of you moving forward to look toward expanded learning time as opportunity to really level the playing field and help every one of our students get the opportunity that they need in the classroom to get ahead. Thank you so much.